Hey there, Dr. Pat Mays, campus pastor at LaTourneau University, coming to you on this wonderful Easter Monday, the day after Easter. It's a beautiful day here on campus, and I thought I'd sit here outside the library and just share a few words with you. Victor, what are you doing? What are you doing here? You could have killed me.
Hey, Dr. Mays. It's so good to see you. There's no one here on campus these days. It's so depressing. But good to see you, my friend.
Wow, man, Victor, it's good to see you. Well, yeah, I was just sitting here trying to enjoy some peace and quiet, but we're glad you're here. Hey, everybody, Dr. Victor Roudkovski. He is the chair of the School of Theology and Vocation. And hey, since you're here, I got a couple of questions for you.
I'm at your service, Dr. Mays. What can I do for you?
Well, here's my first question. You're out here hitting some golf balls, and I know you're an avid golfer. So tell me, how is golf like the Christian life?
Well, I don't think I'm an avid golfer, but I love it. I wish I could be better at this. But yeah, golf can teach us a lot of lessons about life in general, but also about Christian life. For example, in golf, it's very important that a golfer does not get too far ahead of himself or herself and take one shot at a time. And for that shot to be successful, you have to be prepared well, go through a right routine, and especially in these times, it's important for us to take each moment of our life at a time and not get too far ahead of ourselves and not to really worry about kind of the next shot. If you start worrying about the next shot, your current shot is not going to be very good. So we have to take one day at a time, one shot at a time, one task at a time, one paper at a time, one assignment at a time.
Man, that's very interesting. Is there anything else?
Yeah, there's a lot more to golf. For example, it is said of golf that golf is the game of recovery. You can have 2 or 3 bad shots, but then you can hit a most magnificent shot that could actually help you with your score or make that incredible putt. Golf is a game of recovery, and so our life can also be filled with moments that are very, very sad, dark and gloomy, but then comes a moment when we can feel the presence of God and we are restored, reclaimed by Him, and we are fully healed and recovered.
Well, you're giving us a lot to think about, but here's one. I've often wondered, will there be golf in heaven?
Wow, what a question, Dr. Mays. I didn't expect that question from you. Will there be golf in heaven? That's an interesting question. I've actually thought about that question a great deal. And I have learned that theologians are divided. There's a great debate whether there is going to be golf in heaven. Some say there is no way. We will have no golf, absolutely no golf in heaven. Because the Bible says in heaven there will be no lying, no cheating, no madness, no darkness, no wailing and gnashing of teeth. That's a joke, obviously. On the other hand, there are many that say that golf is such a beautiful game, great scenery. There will be so many wonderful, beautiful, lush fair ways, and perhaps our game will be better in heaven as well.
Well, Victor, thank you for your Russian humor there. That's great. But maybe a more serious question. It's the day after Easter, and so we have celebrated the resurrection. How can we continue to live in the reality of the resurrection of Jesus?
Yes, resurrection is so important for Christian faith, and living in light of the resurrection of Jesus that we celebrated yesterday is so important for us as Christians. And that's why the church has dedicated a large amount of days on our Christian calendar to the season we call Eastertide. We are not meant to celebrate resurrection just on Easter. In fact, we have to celebrate resurrection every Sunday. We should be reminded of that first day of the week on which Jesus rose from the dead. But also the season that we are entering, Eastertide, all the way until Ascension or Pentecost, depending on tradition, we're meant to really think through about the significance and the meaning of resurrection in our lives and living in reality of it. I would say a few things about what it means for us to live in the reality of Christ's resurrection. The first thing I would say is that we as Christians must remember and truly understand that when Christ rose from the dead, that means he was vindicated. That means that his claims of being the Messiah were vindicated. The cross was the D-Day. The resurrection was the V-Day. The victory was achieved. And that victory was achieved over the forces of darkness, over the forces of evil, and yes, over the forces of death. These days we are talking a lot about death on the news. Resurrection must remind us, like never before, that Christ conquered death. And because of that, new creation has begun. And we're living in the reality of God's new creation. And that's why the Apostle Paul, in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, said, after that great chapter on resurrection and the validity and authenticity and the belief in the resurrection, he said, therefore, my beloved brethren and sisterin, he said, be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, knowing that your labor in the Lord is not in vain. Whatever we do for Christ here and now is not in vain. That's what it means to live in the reality of Christ's resurrection. It means that we have power, we have hope, and we are part of God's new creation.
Wow, Victor, those are such good words, not only for now, but clearly as we walk through our lives, particularly during this time of the pandemic. So thanks for that. Good words.
These are my favorite words, Dr. Mays. Christ is risen.
And he is risen indeed. Well, it was good seeing you, man.
Yeah, see you later. Be good. Take care.
All right.
Like and subscribe.